So I'm often asked about transforming my life. I've been involved with women's organizations a lot, and I did a workshop on women's power and how women need to step into their power shoes and own their power. And while I had done a lot of work of that myself on to accepting my power and walking in my power, etc., within the week I had an argument with my now ex-husband, and I realized I had no power. I had no power in this relationship in terms of being totally me and being me, period. I had given away my power. And when I realized that, when I had that moment that was like, hang on, I'm standing here telling other women to walk in their power, but in this area of my life, I don't have enough power. And I was like, I'm going to reclaim that power. And that's what I did. And I went in and I said, I'm leaving. And I said, I'm taking 3 months. I'm going to pack all my stuff and I'll sort through everything, and I'm going to be gone. I'm a business coach and I'm a coach. So coaches ask this question. So if money was no object, what would you do? So money was no object because I had none. I had 500 euros to start my life all over again. That, in a way, was a great relief to me because I had a blank canvas completely. And I was like, actually, if I'm going to make this change, I'm going to go back to Zimbabwe. I'm going to go home. To me, there was no turning back to Europe. There was just the absolute certainty that I was going to do this and I was going to make it. And I returned to Africa with the feeling that I was returning to the warm heart of Africa and the warmth of its people. And that was what my experience was going to be. And that's exactly what it was. And I'm glad that I chose life over stuff, because my experiences are ones that I will take to the grave with me. I can take no stuff with me. I couldn't afford a 4x4, so I was like, okay, so I'm going to get the next best thing. Mechanical engine, diesel, because, I may be in the middle of nowhere. I may need some repairs. At least if it's a mechanical engine, I've got a better chance. Diesel, because the fuel is so variable. Something that I can get from the back into the front, so that if anything happens along the way, I'm, just get in my van. So I always parked so that I could always vamos very quickly. I started looking for this kind of van, but in the UK, they were terribly rusted. And then I got to this farm and there was like security and very un-UK-like. It looked very dodgy. Got to inside, looked very dodgy. Anyway, I saw the van and I just immediately knew that this was it. And I drove her and she was perfect. And I had to check the rust and everything. She was fine. And so I bought her. So she cost me £1,700. She was an ambulance. She had a disability lift in the back of her. It took 3 guys and a forklift to get it out. And then I picked up my stuff in Luxembourg, which is where I left it, brought it to Spain, to Barcelona in Spain, and then built the inside. It took me way too long. I don't know, it took me about 9 months, and I built it in the street in Barcelona. So it was like, unlock the van, go inside, go into the workshop, lock the van, go into the workshop, unlock the workshop, go inside, do whatever I thought I needed to do, open the workshop door, lock the workshop door, come back into the, there were days that I sat weeping. I was like, I'm never going to get this right. And then I would kind of get over myself because I realized nobody else was going to fix it for me. So I would have to fix it for myself. So in terms of personal preparation, I don't think I did anything other than, worked my butt off trying to get the van ready and everything else. My thinking was very little, actually. I was like, I'm in Barcelona, so Morocco just seems like a simpler option. And I didn't want to go to Egypt because I'd heard too many stories about how you had to abandon your vehicle to somebody who would then see it through customs and all the rest of it. And I was like, this is my van, this is my bed, this is my home. I'm not abandoning all my stuff and everything precious that I possess to go put it in a suitcase and then, leave my van to somebody else. And I didn't like that idea at all. So I thought, I'll do the West Coast. And it wasn't until I was on the road that other overlanders were saying to me, you do know that this is considered the most challenging overlanding route in the world in terms of bureaucracy, roads, corruption, and all the rest of it. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that, actually. No. Oh, that's interesting, because I'm not going back and taking another route, so I better keep going. So that was, I say always, ignorance got me a long way.
Stuck, don't move.
My whole journey was miraculous. It was, people helped me when they had no idea who I was or what I was about, and they just helped me. In my book, I talk about Africa Roadside Assistance, and people are like, oh, is that a company or something? I mean, my nephew searched for months. He was like, no, we need to find an AA or some way that you... And I was like, it doesn't exist. But what exists, and as you come into Southern Africa, that kind of disappears. But what exists in West Africa and in the communities of Africa is still that feeling of family and community and helping one another. And I think that's the treasure of Africa is that still exists, and I'd hate to see that go. I'd never waited more than 15, 20 minutes for somebody to appear to help me out of mud. I mean, I think the most memorable was the guy who appeared and helped me through the mud between Gabon and Republic of Congo. That was just nothing short of miraculous. I mean, he was literally an angel just sent, because I could not have done it on my own. As I got closer to Zimbabwe, I reflected back on my journey, and I was like, wow, all these people who came up and put me up, let me park in their place, gave me help, gave me accommodation, and people who had sent me money. You know, I mean, I ran out of money and people sent me money. That was nothing short of miraculous. And some very kind people who believed in me and wanted to see me succeed, and that was humbling, actually. And then when I got to Botswana, I kind of suddenly went, wow, I'm this huge elephant that I had and taken on, and decided quite early on that the only way I was going to be able to succeed at this was to eat the elephant, which just means one bite at a time. And here I was, I'd eaten this whole elephant, and I was in Botswana. And to think back on all that I had achieved, and how I had achieved it, and how I had managed to overcome all the obstacles along the way. You know, for 8.5 months I was on my way home, and then I was home. But I didn't really know anybody. I was returning to a country that I had left 38 years before. Coming home, I really got to feel like I was at home. You know, for the first time in 38 years, I was not a stranger. I was not a foreigner. I belonged there. When I return to Zimbabwe now, I will be building a home in the community, in the rural community, and I'll be working with the rural community. I've been granted land by the headman and the village head, and that's really exciting for me to be, because I don't really belong where I was before, and I'm happy to create something new. So I have big ambitious plans for the community and what I'm trying to achieve in terms of uplifting them, and I'm working a lot with uplifting girls. So what I try to do is I raise enough funds so that I can take vulnerable and disadvantaged girls and put them into high school. The school fees have gone from 2019 from $20 per term to $143 a term. That's just not an amount of money that any rural person has available to them. I'm inundated with requests for people who want to see their girls educated. It's not a matter of they don't want to educate girls. They just have no ability to facilitate educating girls. So that's very much where I'm trying to focus my time and attention. There are no downsides to girls' education, none at all. And we can transform our country just through educating girls. And that's what I'm setting out to try to do. I have no idea how I'm going to do it, none whatsoever. But I'm going to lend my voice to it and do whatever I can and make it. And I keep saying to myself, you know what, Dot? You ate the elephant of driving through Africa on your own. So here's another elephant. It must be possible somehow. You just have to work it out.
Thank you so much for joining us on our journey, sharing our films and following us. And if you would like to see more, please click on the link below, and we'd love you to contribute through Patreon.